So we're gonna learn.
Here.
We're gonna learn. Maybe I could change my
we're live.
camera. Disable camera. Change my video source to that. Did that work? That did definitely not work. What about that one?
Well,
there you go. Now you can see me.
I see you.
Perfect.
Yep, we're here.
We here, boys.
We're live.
Are we? I can't tell.
My.
It's not. Doesn't seem to be working on my end.
Well, I mean, the Discord message is there.
The Discord message went through.
Yeah, no.
All right, cool.
I see us.
Okay, cool. I didn't see us. Great.
Now I lost us.
And we're gone. Okay.
Where is this?
Where have I gone?
Right.
You turned it off?
How do I do this? Guys, I've not streamed on YouTube in a long time.
I think we're live. It looks like
we're live, brother.
Let me put the volume back on so I can hear it. I muted the tab.
Here it is. Careful. Oh no, monetization issues. Oh.
Yeah, we're for sure live. It just caught up to me and Jake both.
Okay, cool.
We are live. Are you broadcasting 80s music?
I really hope not.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I don't hear it.
As long as you muted the stream, you're good.
I think I left the stream. Yeah. I think I'm good. I don't know. I'm not listening to the stream. I don't need to destroy someone's eardrums with this.
Well, hey.
Fair enough.
Welcome to youtube.com/@thiscrits.
Crazy. Yeah.
Crazy news in the D&D world today,
wow. Yeah.
Wait,
I know.
What? Something happened?
Yeah, this Crits turned on his stream. Hasn't happened in like 2 years.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Fair
man.
enough.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I don't have anything to talk about aside from that, really.
You.
We just went live and it's like, oh, okay.
All right. Listen, guys, I just spent the last 20 minutes trying to jumble this whole thing together, okay?
Mostly because we were like, your channel, our channel, your channel, our channel. I was like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I realized that because it's always on your channel. I'm like, I should probably take this one. Like, I should. Okay. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start with this? Where do we want to start? Where do we want to begin? There's a lot of news. Big news. The biggest news probably ever.
Honestly, yeah.
You're
it's
muted,
huge.
friend, if you're talking. Sorry. No,
Start with facts and then go from there.
Yeah, start with facts and then we'll throw in some lies to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll tell two truths and a lie and see if the audience can figure it out.
Yeah.
It's always a fun game.
I love it.
Never mind. I'm like, you're setting me up, Jake.
I don't know, man. If you ever read my comment section, pretty much everything I say is a lie according to them. So who knows?
I love that you misspelled Critical Role in the title. That will piss off all the people that need to be pissed off.
Exactly. Oh man, I just have a skill. What can I say? I'm very good at triggering people with improper spelling of words.
Also, using the wrong grammar. Pretty good at that too.
Listen,
Particularly
I rolled dice and played D&D. I don't do grammar, okay? I never got above a C in high school English class. I really think that was because my teacher just didn't like me, but still.
Well, D is for diploma, so
That's true.
there's that.
Yeah, once you get out of high school, it doesn't.
All right, let's chat. Who wants to go first? Who wants to state the facts? Who wants to state the falses?
Chris Perkins, Jeremy Crawford have joined the team at Darrington Press, aka Critical Role, and one of them's like a creative director and one's like a game director. It's like they have like big titles already.
Let me guess. Perkins, creative director, and Crawford.
Look at the article now.
How'd you know that? Yeah.
Perkins creative, Jeremy game. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I remember we kind of had a similar moment, like a month or two ago, and we were like, Chris and Jeremy are leaving. We got to talk about this, right? Like, I think we sat, at least,
You and Jake did.
yeah, me and Jake sat down and talked about it for a little bit.
You and I talked about Perkins, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
had
did a
FOMO,
quick
so-
solo about Crawford because it was like
Like a couple days after the fact.
I was like this. I mean, I'm not basically saying all the same things, but
Yeah. But we were really worried about it, right? But then now, I guess it makes sense.
the sky was falling then, and if the sky was falling because of that, it was already falling.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because, or maybe not weird, but back when that happened, everybody was saying the sky is falling, everything's falling apart, what's going on at Wizards of the Coast, this whole thing must be a complete failure, everybody's leaving, nobody wants to be there anymore. And I was kind of like, I'm like, well, Chris Perkins was there for 28 years. Seems like he's been taking a step back for the last like year and a half. Crawford, I don't know how long Crawford was there for, but like he also seemed to be like starting to take a step back. And then they left, and I'm like, well, almost 30 years at a company is like that's a long time. It makes sense to want to retire after that and then just kind of do what you want to do. And I think we all knew that he was still going to be making things in the D&D space or the RPG space. But yeah, now I'm like, oh, okay, things are really bad at Wizards of the Coast, aren't they? Like, they didn't leave because they were ready to stop. They left because they were ready to stop being at Wizards of the Coast.
So I did before you guys hopped on. I read the LA Times article, and there's a quote specifically from Jeremy Crawford. It says, Chris and I have had the pleasure of working with and befriending members of Critical Role over the last 10 years, and we've long admired their work and spirit, Crawford said. When they approached us about joining them, we happily said yes. It meant we could continue our creative partnership in a company whose mission and people we believe in.
Wow,
So-
say the loud part louder, man, or quiet part louder. Jeez.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing, and obviously it's not really the kind of thing you don't say unless the opposite is true of where you left. It's just it's too specifically worded, and I know there was I want to say, Josh, I think you shared the video. Was it Merles was talking about like when the distance between the creator and the audience increases, like there's just this big disconnect, and regardless of your feelings about Merles, he's right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a great video. It's like an hour straight.
That was you who shared that, right? And I watched that whole hour video. I think it was you
think
shared
it
it
was
over
Josh.
Discord, right?
Yeah, I
Couple
want to
months
say
ago,
it was
maybe?
like
Yeah.
him and was it like bonus action or something? I don't know. If I find it, I'll share it.
One
in
was
the-
questing Beast, maybe.
I don't know. I'll share the link
Somebody.
again if I could find it.
Yeah.
But it's literally like an hour straight of just Mike Merles talking about these were the design decisions. This is how we got to 5e. This is the unintended consequences of success. These are the problems I have with the new version. These are the problems I have with Wizards of the Coast. Whatever he's excited about for like moving forward. But yeah, that was really interesting
Yeah.
to hear.
But it does highlight, I think, he says a company whose mission and people we believe in. That, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, they'll get along great. That was like the very first thought I had, and regardless of your feelings about any of that, that's just nice to see. Oh, this is going to be a nice work environment for everybody that's there on that team. I think that's good.
I think this announcement answered every single one of our questions and also kind of confirmed a lot of what our initial assumptions of what's going on behind the scenes. They spoke about it, and just I guess that how quickly this happened really just kind of just tells you everything you need to
Very
know.
fast.
Yeah. I mean, in the article itself, it says that I think that Travis was speaking with both of them as soon as they first heard that they were considering leaving. So it's not like it hasn't
Yeah,
been
it
in
didn't
the
say
works.
after they left.
Yeah, it was prior to that, right? So they were at least somewhat planning this for somewhat of an amount of time. You know, not to say they were like, oh, let's go now or whatnot, but, you know, just with the 2024 release, it was kind of just like the perfect time for them to just, you know, close the chapter on their D&D's part and move into something else, which I guess they can definitely fit in with based on how they're speaking, right? So, I don't know. I like Perkins. Yeah. I like Jeremy. I think this is great, honestly. I'm really happy to not see them just go silently into the night.
I feel exactly the same way.
I agree.
I'm, you know, like sad for D&D, because I do think it's going to be bad for D&D and 5.24 as a whole, not having them there. They've, whether you like the new stuff or whether you don't like the new stuff, I think that's irrelevant. These are the two guys who have championed D&D, them and Mike Merles, for the last 25 years, and or more. So it's gonna have an effect. But I am excited to I agree. I didn't want to see them disappear. I've enjoyed the stuff that they've done since I've been paying attention to D&D. But even since before then, like I've never played 3rd edition, but I have a lot of the 3rd edition books.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some awesome stuff in there. And I know that they had a hand in all of that too, and the 4th edition stuff for that matter. So it's going to be exciting to see them work with a company that it's not a huge corporation, right? Like it's just people who are excited about tabletop RPG.
Yeah. I am really excited to see what they come up with. Not that I don't think they're going to come up with anything crazy anytime soon, but I'm just happy to see two people that I enjoyed, you know, not leaving and still being involved in everything. Because I know that they've been a part of D&D for, like you said, something 30 years ballpark, right? But I still feel like I'm just barely getting to know them because I'm still, you know, relatively new in the D&D space. I started, realistically 2012 is probably when I really started, maybe 2015 ballpark.
I find that funny to hear.
Why?
Just because I think that if you were to say that, like, to me, if you're pre-5th edition, like, that's, like, in relative terms, you're ancient.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I started at 3.5 is when I started, but I never DM'd it. I played it, you know.
Like I don't even think you're in the adult category. I think you're in the ancient category.
Wow, I'm in the ancient category? What the
I just
heck?
think if you're before 5th edition, or maybe that should be the adult category, and that just has other implications.
Yeah,
You can have fun
fair.
with hearing that. I don't know. I find it kind of funny because you have experience playing Dungeons and Dragons outside of 5th edition, so I would never say you're new to it.
I still feel like it, though. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
If it was 2012, that's 13 years.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's a long time to be playing a game. It doesn't feel like a long time relative to someone like Jake. How long have you been playing, Jake?
For me, no. Well, it's just factual.
No, that's not an insult.
36 years. Yeah,
What?
no, it's just
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't.
no,
Whoa, don't lump me in with the ancient guy over there. Hold on a second. Wait.
I'm a great worm. I'm a great worm. How about that?
Yeah, we measure that in terms of dragon's age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whelpling, young.
No, I was like 7 or 8. So depending on exactly how you count.
God, that's funny.
And I first started DMing when I was 12.
Yeah. I have most of my experience with the 5e, but you know, going back to 3.5, it's a great system. I really do like it a lot. But
At this point, most of my experience is with 5e too. I mean, it's not like I played every single week, you know, when I was a kid. But
the talk of systems going naturally into the next segment, what about Daggerheart? Huh? We talked a little bit about it prior to... Well, actually, we talked pretty much a lot about it while I was spending 20 minutes setting up this damn stream. But I wasn't privy to much of it because I was focusing on the swiper thumbnail.
Well, we actually didn't talk that much about it.
Oh, okay. Well,
We may have exhausted my
Me.
knowledge, though.
Well, yeah, no, it's really funny because, like, you talk about what you just said. You're excited to see Chris and Jeremy still working on RPG products. I had zero interest in Daggerheart at all, like not even a little bit. Normally, I'll like for something like big like this, I'd probably like at least look at a free version or like get the PDF, watch the how-to videos, like something.
mm-hmm.
Had zero interest in it, didn't look at anything about it, and then now today, knowing that Chris and Jeremy are both working on Daggerheart, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick up a copy, and we're gonna see what this is all about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I logged on to Amazon, and I might be able to get one on Amazon, I think.
Probably. I tried to buy one through their website. I
But-
literally went through this process probably like about a month ago. I was like, you know what? I need some new interests. I need some new content fodder. Let's
Give
go
me
ahead.
some
And,
fresh meat.
yeah, let's buy the book and see what it's got. So I went on a deep dive, went through all the videos, watched all of the YouTubes about it from the CR guys, and it looks real. I think it looks interesting, and I told you guys this prior to recording or starting the stream, but I'm gonna do it again because now we're live. I think the best way to describe Daggerheart is D&D for theater kids. And I think that is the best way to describe it because everything about the game seems to be not hyper-focused, but focused on the story and the narrative and the whole, role-playing aspect of it. Which is cool. I think it's really fun to have a unique mechanic to specifically encourage players to do that. Now, Jake, you also had another take on that, which,
Yeah, so it's timely because hi Vanessa, hi Ian, they're in chat.
Hi, everybody.
She just said she doesn't quite understand the hope and fear 2d12 system. So essentially, if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, it's a d20 based system where you try to do something, you roll a d20, add the modifiers, you get your result. So instead of rolling a d20, you've got 2d12. That just replaces that entire thing. It's just swapped in and out. So if you actually can illustrate it here, I've got a blue die, we'll call that my hope die, and a red die, we'll call that my fear die. I'm going to roll that together here. So I have an 11 on my fear die and a 6 on my hope die. So my total there...
No dice cam? Yeah.
No dice cam? Okay, here, I'll just pick it up. I promise I won't swap it. There you go. So the total there is 17. So you'd treat that part just like you would if you rolled a 17 on your d20. But the added thing here is whether that succeeds or fails, it's with fear because the fear die is larger than the hope die. So if the 17 succeeds, I would succeed with fear, which I believe gives the game master some kind of way they can mess with you in some kind of negative way. And if the numbers were reversed, right? So if I had an 11 and a 6 the other way, I could succeed or fail with hope. And that would give the player some license, I think, to kind of overcome something, give themselves some kind of an advantage. I'm a little hazy on exactly what hope and fear does. But what it does do is it just adds another result baked into that check.
From my understanding, to go deeper into the hope and the fear mechanic, when you roll, and I could be very wrong, but based on what I interpreted from watching the videos and reading it, is when you get a roll with fear, it's like a tracker, effectively. The DM has a certain pool of fear points, right, that they can use to use different abilities for monsters, to do different negative effects or like surprises for the players that will obviously affect them in a negative way. Whereas hopes have, I don't know what they're officially called, but something like hope points, where they can spend hope points or whatever they're called to power certain
maybe
abilities.
like reroll or
Not
something,
reroll,
yeah.
but they actually have abilities that require using hope. That their
Oh,
characters,
like a resource to manage.
yeah, it's like a resource.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So it's like its own little resource kind of thing for both the DM and the player. So if you can, and I think in the actual description it says that you can either have your fear dice for as a DM like hidden or out on the table, and you can really play up the whole kind of like, oh, I'm building up a bunch of fear dice. What's coming down? What's in the next door? What's coming up? Why am I saving?
Why is he
150?
hoarding them?
Exactly, right. So it really kind of plays into that whole kind of literally hope and fear kind of style of gameplay. I thought that was a really cool kind of mechanic. I do also understand that it might be a lot, or it could be seen as a lot or overwhelming, but I do think it's at least a fun take on stuff, right?
I just hope that it doesn't. I hope that they don't do it this way, but I fear that they will
But
do
my
it this
fear-
way.
Yeah.
No, but I hope that it's not every single time you roll. It's a hope and fear thing.
I believe it is. I believe every roll is like that.
I would have to dig into the rule book to really give an opinion on that. But
Yeah.
when I think about, I think Jake might have mentioned this earlier too. Star Wars: Edge of the Empire, or Age of Rebellion, or Destiny and Forest, or whatever it is. You know, they have the 3 different versions of the same game. Or, like, but they did something different with that, where you have a what the hell is it called? It's like an advantage,
Like a complication.
disadvantage, complication. There's another nice word for whatever the antonym of complication is. But there's you have like success and failure, and then you also have 2 positive things that aren't a success and 2 negative things that aren't a failure.
You'd be like, this one roll. Can you name 3 different ways that I could mess with you in the future? You're like,
pretty much.
It's a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
You could be like, I try to have R2 open this door, and oh sure, like roll like tech or whatever it's gonna be, and they tell you like add this setback die, add this whatever die, and then you get the roll, and it's like I succeeded with like 3 setbacks, or like I failed with like 2 advantages. So then it's on the game master and the player every single time you roll to figure out whatever number
It
of
was too much.
positives or negatives like might affect that, and you could just ignore it, but it's designed so that that's a part of it always. It's just overwhelming for me, at least.
I think that there, in the system itself, there are, like Vanessa mentioned this, like when you roll with fear, the DM got to go immediately after the player to attack them, right? So
there's no initiative. There's no set initiative in their combat, right?
I'm not positive, but what I do remember is that there are specific suggestions and mechanics for what you can do with them in the moments, right? So it's not just like figure it out, right? There is specific, like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, or you can hoard them and just screw your players in the next room, right? There are specific mechanics. The book seems to do a good job of explaining that stuff. But have you guys haven't looked at it at all, really, right? Because the next thing I wanted to ask you about is the kind of armor system and hit points setup, because I thought that was really interesting.
I did a while ago. So I believe there are thresholds where if you take a certain amount of damage, you take a wound, or right. So like if I'm wearing armor that kind of like soaks up enough where you don't hit my threshold, you may have hit me, but I'm good.
Yeah.
But I think the armor can degrade. Is that right? Am I remembering?
So they changed. It used to be a lot more. But with the actual release of it, it's exactly how you have it set. There's thresholds of damage effectively where, if you take 7 to 14 or 0 or whatever, 5 to 10 damage, you take a minor wound, which is 1 point of damage. If you go 10 to 15, you get moderate,
Yeah.
and if you go
Well,
15,
we're trying to
20,
eliminate math from the game as best
Yeah.
we can.
So you get 2 points for moderate, 3 points for severe. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Which
It's creative.
no math,
That's
no
interesting.
math.
I'd like to see that in action, you know, because it could be really fun to engage with. But one of my favorite Travis quotes, I think it was maybe campaign 2. He just had to do subtraction instead of addition. He's like, I'm not good with reverse math. It's like, oh, okay, Travis. And they all gave him some business for it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about. I think that's it. It's old school. It's more nuanced, and it's just good to have. Soak like you know, I hit you, but your armor soaks X amount or whatever, that kind of thing. Like, just I like it a lot more than I like just this is your AC. Does it hit or does it? Plate armor. You hit me with a
effectively better armor that like. You're probably going to get hit more, but you just take less damage when you're hit, right? If you're, I'm gonna get hit less if I'm not wearing plate armor, but it's gonna be real costly if I do.
I really like that as well.
We joke about like or not really joke about, but it's like commonplace to say like you're the tank, you know, like what is a tank? A tank is the thing that draws enemy fire and it's gonna get shot to crap, but it's
even called an armor division.
Let's see. Not sure if you talked it during. Well, during the combat I watched, they could opt to take damage to. That was it. They could take damage to their armor instead of their hit points, which I thought was a really cool mechanic.
So the armor can eventually become ineffective.
Yeah, well, the armor can tank the hit, right? So I think your armor has like, you have 3 armor durability or whatnot, I think, and it might depend on the armor class. I don't remember.
What needs to be repaired or something.
Yeah, but like you can tank the hit with that instead of taking the hit point damage, which is fantastic. I think it's super cool. I think AC, it's D&D is a great system, but I think having armor actually have an impact in something like that is a super cool thing. And actually, that's the kind of mechanic that made me kind of really interested in it because of the armor mechanic specifically. But plate armor versus monk.
Plate armor versus monk.
Well, I mean, a monk has the same AC as a plate armor wearing whatever, right? Like just because of how their unarmored defense works. But
yeah, if you got a +4 and a +3.
But if you get hit on monk, it's a lot worse than if you get hit on something with higher AC or higher health, right? And there's no real mechanic or there's no real what's it? It doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? If a monk takes a hit from a giant sword, that's different than a cleric in full plate armor taking a hit from a giant sword, you know?
Yeah.
Mechanically,
and that's because hit points is just it just goes back to hit points being an abstract concept to begin with.
Yeah.
I think this system does a good job of kind of making that feel more visceral.
Like, these actually are meat points.
Yum.
It's fun seeing people like care about that, though. I mean, because this has been like a several year-long conversation that Jake and I have regularly.
Really?
With some stuff that he's been working on for a while.
Oh, okay.
But like with armor and that kind of stuff. So it's cool to see that people actually care about that. Because sometimes it feels like I'm but like sometimes it feels like we're the only ones. You know, it's easy to just like alienate yourself like that. Just be like, I guess just people don't care about this. You know, it's just me thinking that trying to hit someone who's wearing plate armor with a rapier shouldn't do anything. But
Ramon Encarnacion.
I really hope you got the sweet spot there, because you're gonna break your rapier.
Yeah, it's the one thing I read about it that I was a little confused about, or a bit hesitant about, is actually what Ian mentioned about the cards. So instead of like not instead, but in place of your abilities or features or anything like that, you literally get like a deck of cards. And each class has 2 different decks that it can apply to it. I don't remember the names of the specific decks.
That's sort of like a subclass-ish
Kind
choice.
of, yeah. Well, it's a class choice, right? So the core class has like, let's just say there's like 8 different card decks, and between deck 1 and deck 2 is class A. Between deck 2 and deck 3 is class B. So they each
like a
have,
fighter and barbarian could share one.
So they each have similarities between what they can do, and then they give them different features or powers based on the decks that they have. And then subclass goes deeper into that. You also have unique things specific to your subclass. The card decks is, I believe, just your class. So it's kind of seems cool how you can kind of mix and match how there's similarities between multiple different classes. But I didn't get too deep into that to give you a good understanding of how it works.
Yeah, I like that, and even if just having the card is like a physical representation, and I mean all my gaming now is done online
Digitally, yeah.
But I remember, like when I played 4th edition, wanting to have the card in my hand so I could just be like, I'm gonna do this, and like I kind of just like that visceral, like, oh, what can I do? And I'm just like flipping through my cards and like, oh, cool, I could do this now if I want.
Hold that thought.
I do find that there's just something nice about it, and if they have the whole system with it, it only gets a little weird when you need to share cards, maybe, or like, oh, you have that too, but there's only 2 cards. You know, it gets weird.
When
That's
I
fair.
first started 5th edition and DMing in 5th and going really hard,
Index cards, let's see it.
I found a website that was 100% completely legitimate and not illegal. And I found all of these spell cards for every single class, painstakingly printed them out and cut them up and put them all in card holders for my players. I have quite literally 15 different deck boxes with different classes. These are cleric spells level 3 to 9. These are bard spells level 4 to 9. I have so many boxes of cards that I've cut up because I like physical things.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
it is.
So, but I don't know how the cards
I used
work
to do
in
things like
Daggerheart.
that for my players too.
Yeah, when you were in person, it makes it a lot easier to do fun things for your players, but online it's difficult.
Online is the best worst thing to ever happen to.
Very well said, Joshua.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like the 3 of us here, we would almost never be able to play if it wasn't for online gaming. Like, I mean, we really wouldn't have connected with Lee without that, because that's the first time that we really hung out. It was a charity game. And then you and I, obviously, we've just been playing for forever.
Yeah. But we still play because
yeah,
after I moved
exactly.
away, I
So
still
like,
have.
yeah, we might get the Jake is in town and has 2 hours free on like a Saturday morning or something like that, and Lee
brunch
like,
and D&D.
if somehow we were still able to become friends without playing digitally, like I could see us meeting up at some point playing in person, but like I don't know, it would not be often, you know.
Dude, I've got my whole kit.
But you lose out on.
Lee's in his glory here. I love
Dude,
this.
I love this. This is what I live for, man. I also found this while looking for it. Your
I think
Shout out Eve of Ruin.
Shout out Eve of Ruin. If you don't know who that is, check out Eve of Ruin episode. I don't know. Watch the whole thing. It's great.
17, 16.
That
maybe?
far
Something
in?
like
Oh
that?
yeah, it was a long one because
the appearance of
yeah.
of the Swedish chef. Yeah.
Yep. Dude, I got my deck of many things here. By the way, don't give your players one of these ever. Never do it.
Ever.
Do it,
It
but
just will
don't do
ruin
it.
your game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I got my.
It could ruin it in all the right ways, but it will ruin
Depends on
your
the
game.
campaign you're
my
playing.
coffee stained note.
Yeah.
Look at all this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I literally have wax seals for like.
Can't. My wife has wax seals. She she does that just because she's a snail mail nerd. But
It's so much fun, dude. I don't know. This is how I geek out about with D&D, and it sucks that it's all online now. I love you guys, but fuck. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
given the
puzzles-
choice, if we could all play together in person, I would choose that every time.
I would never play online again if that was an option. I would like.
But I have to admit, I probably, because I don't have like a ton of minis and build stuff. I probably would have a TV set up somewhere and be like, this is a battle map.
Well, I got a
I could see that.
ton of minis. You saw the table. You've seen the table.
You have a nice
Yeah.
setup.
I built the
made the
freaking table for the game. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I get off you guys.
I like
Ian's got a whole
puzzles and
bunch of
that
fun
kind of
stuff,
stuff.
too.
I love to I remember in the first session of the first like real campaign that I played, Nooch, who you guys yeah, you guys know from Stormwreck Isle and from
Curse
Not
of
Eve of Ruin, Curse of Strahd. He was DMing it, and we had this like joining ritual to join an organization, but then there were also like puzzles involved, and he had physical puzzle things that he had. There was like this wooden, like, I don't know, it was like a box puzzle that you had to figure out how to open it up, and like that was so cool to me. I played with you guys with Jake once, where I I think I got like an hour of sleep that day.
It was so cool. I felt awful when you told me how much you stayed up, but I was like,
Oh, it was so worth
cool,
it. I would have done it a million times over. But I got like forget what it's called. Not poster board. It's like I got like foam. I built like a dungeon map, and then made a puzzle with little tiny mirrors that could turn, and like and a laser pointer. So it was like a light puzzle that they had to figure out. And like
to reflect
to
the
me,
stuff, and
that is so fun and so exciting to be able to like create and set up and watch. Like that's one of the most fulfilling things as a DM, to like, for me at least, to set something up and see you guys figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It is so difficult for me to do that digitally. And I've gone through great lengths to try to set up good puzzles digitally, and I think I've had some okay attempts, but more often than not, I miss the mark for digital.
It's hard.
Too simple or too
really
difficult.
Puzzles are
really
tricky in
hard.
general.
Yeah. Puzzles are probably the trickiest thing about DMing, because if there's
Oh, yeah,
one
I agree.
thing about a good puzzle, all right, the answer is either instantly figured out or never figured out. There's no in between.
it's also tricky, right? So let's just say you're just a regular person. We'll just say there's nothing special about you. So, but you're role playing a wizard that has a 20 intelligence. You know what I mean? Like there's some like I might not understand this puzzle, but like this guy's a super genius that I'm playing. Like there's every reason in the world to believe that they would figure it out in an instant, you know? So there is a disconnect. It's like role playing and be like you are acting actually as a jerk, but it's like roll a persuasion check and you're barred with expertise. It's like 76. Does that succeed? You know,
that's exactly it though. Like that's where the dice rolls come into play. Like if I have a puzzle for Lee, and you know, Lee's not understanding it, but his character would probably start picking up on it, and like, yeah, roll an intelligence, investigation, whatever it is. Now you have, if it's a 6-step puzzle, like I just gave you the first 3 steps. Can you figure it out from here? Or like,
Listen,
you need to
dude,
spend more time and roll again.
I figured out the alone puzzle like a millisecond before you were about to spell it out for us, okay?
Oh wow, I forgot about
You
that.
remember
yeah.
that?
Michael and I were like,
I figured that puzzle out like a moment before you were about to be like, all right, this is what it is. Like,
I think your characters are smarter than you, so
yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
it's like
I
Vegas
got
and
it.
Milo both are those characters.
That's the that is the fun thing that we're just talking about, and with pre-written adventures, because it's like you're either lost in that place forever, or you figure out the puzzle and
Yeah.
escape.
Yep. Oh, that
I like
puzzle
variations
was so
on
shitty.
common puzzles.
What's up?
I like a variation on a common puzzle, right? Like the riddle, like, all right, you come to a fork in the road. One path leads to your
Death and the other
salvation,
leads to
and
your,
the other's to your
yeah.
death. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Two
and one
doors.
of them always lies, and one of them
Yeah.
always tells the truth. How do you figure out the right thing?
Yup.
You know. And so, but if there's a variation on that, that's where it's like, oh wait, okay, so it's not quite as simple. I have to think about this again. Those are fun too. But I don't think I've ever really given as much, just on the DM side of thing. I don't think I've ever given much thought into creating puzzles quite like you have, Josh. And I haven't been a player in one of your campaigns yet, Lee, but I am looking forward to that one day.
Oh, you're gonna get screwed.
I'm here for it.
But some players like getting screwed, and I think I'm one of them.
I mean,
Who knows?
however it works out, I would just love to play in a game that you're DMing.
I
So,
can't wait. I cannot.
whether it's a TPK, we get screwed, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
as long as we're hanging.
You know what my favorite thing is about D&D? Or not my favorite thing about D&D is, but my favorite thing about puzzles is shitty riddles. Those are the best part because they're just like either
There's like 5 possible answers. too.
yeah, like they're so obvious or they're just no one's ever going to get it, right? Like it and you spend like as a DM 5 hours trying to come up with a perfect foolproof riddle. And it's either gone
You're
in
like,
a
oh,
minute.
it's time, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's either gone in a minute or the entire session. Oh.
I mean, one time
Yeah.
I created a digital puzzle box for a show that was a game that was also content, and I think it took a full 2 hours to solve it. So
I remember, yeah, because you had me help slightly with some of the graphics. You're like, can you do this and make this? And I'm like, I don't know how all this is gonna fit together, but
right before the session, Jake is a mess.
okay.
I mean, I think both of you are really good at this kind of stuff, but like, I told Jake what I was trying to do. I was like,
I speak your
is
brain's
this something
language.
that you could make? Like, if I show you what it looks like, can you make this on PicMonkey? You're like, yeah,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, let's get on a call.
Yeah, we've had some good times.
All right,
It ended up
ready?
being a role-playing episode.
All right,
Oh no.
here's my riddle.
Oh no.
My favorite riddle ever. Okay.
Pressure's on Josh.
What can be given yet will
I'm
always...
sorry, hold on 1 second.
Okay, okay.
OpenAI.com.
Oh, no.
Oh
no!
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What can be given yet will always remain?
I think you told me this, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer
Probably-
before.
I don't... Can he figure it out?
Attention?
I guess that's a possible
still-
answer. Not the answer I'm looking
Wow,
for.
you give your attention, but it's still your attention.
But that's well, fuck. I
That's a
gotta write
great
that
answer.
down. Hold on a minute. Okay. What is the
I
airspeed
mean-
velocity of a laden swallow?
Monty Python reference, yes.
African year. Yeah,
Oh.
Ian.
Ian gets it.
Yeah, he did.
Ian got it in
there
chat.
It is. There it is. A name.
That was the answer.
That's the
name.
answer I was
Is
looking for.
You could give your name, but it's still your name.
Yep, and he's angry
Josh is
about
like,
it.
I wanted to
And he's
figure it out,
angry
like-
about it.
But Josh, you did have an answer that fit perfectly, which is
Yeah,
exactly part of
okay,
the problem
I mean-
with it.
All right. I could see that.
He's so upset.
Oh, Josh is not
He is so
satisfied
upset.
with
That's just
that
like,
answer at all.
I just riddles that have multiple solutions. I'm just not, or are a
And
little
that's
ambiguous.
the problem with them. That right there
Because
is
I'm like, maybe a promise, like your word, respect. I don't know. There's a lot.
Yo,
But your
a
name
lot of
isn't
people
there.
have lost respect, man. I don't know what you're talking about with that one.
Sure. But you could change your name. start going by a different name, you know.
You could change your attention.
No, I mean
Or
where I
shift it.
place my attention can change, but my attention will always exist in some form or another.
Good night, Vanessa.
This conversation
That-
isn't fun anymore. Josh is making it unfun.
Sorry, I don't like riddles.
Good night, Vanessa.
I
You
overthink
could see, you
riddles.
saw in his face though. He was like, I don't think I...
He wore his emotions on his face there. Yeah.
I don't often do that, but I was like thinking about it the whole time. Like,
Oh, man.
no, that it does make sense though.
Yeah,
That
your
makes sense
attention
as an
stayed. Your
answer.
attention was on that riddle, but you definitely lost your attention when you heard the answer. So I don't know, man. Like,
My attention is fully still on the riddle. Um,
replaced with nothing but frustration about a stupid riddle.
my biggest problem with riddles actually is or riddles in D&D is it always feels just like immersion breaking silly to me. Like when I think of Lord of the Rings and I'm like an amazing
Friend.
story, so much depth, everything is real and feels real, and they get to a door that's sealed and it's like, speak friend and enter.
Amigo.
Yeah,
It's like, okay. Like,
What? Why?
was it that easy? Yeah.
I don't know. So I'll use riddles every now and then, but it's just one of those things that I always I like to use them in more in like a there's still a physical aspect. It could be like a riddle, but like I don't remember exactly what it was, but this is also from Ancient Relics. It was like the
Was this
third session.
entering Malleus Mere?
Not entering Malleus Mere. Well, there might have been
Whatever.
something for that too. There was something creepy for that actually.
I think I had to shed blood to go on
Yeah,
there.
but there was one. It was like an altar
Yes.
that you had to light a fire on or something like that. I don't remember what
ashes.
the actual.
It's something with ashes.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was, and it was like I don't know. I think for whatever reason, it makes more sense in my brain when there's like a physical aspect to it, because it's still like a lock and key. I guess it's not just a troll under a bridge, you know.
Yeah. I also like the way in Lord of the Rings when Bilbo and Gollum were just, it was like a contest. Like that was just kind of,
That's
like
great.
it's like a battle of wits, you know, like
Yes. I like riddles in general. It's just I think a riddle
I
as
just said the word friend in Elvish and that's all I had to do.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I think riddles for like opening doors or I don't, it just that kind of thing that's where my brain just starts to be like, why?
You know what I like? I like. I understand your feelings on riddles. I totally get it, but I really
It's weird and I'm overthinking it.
But everything you're saying makes it makes logical sense. Like I agree.
It's not founded in nothing.
Yeah, it is completely understandable, and I agree with everything you're saying. But man, a stupid riddle I just love. Anyways,
it's fun. They're fun. 100% they're fun.
The thing that I like to do with a lot of them is whenever I have some sort of riddle or any sort of puzzle specifically, because every puzzle comes with words or a riddle, right? Because that's the whole thing. There's always some sort of physical element that the party interacts with specifically to make it more engaging than just sitting there like, what's a name? You know, attention, stuff like that. One of my favorite like riddles to muck around with is I love doing god riddles. Like riddles that just like attuned to a specific like deity or whatnot. Like I have one that I really like to do that it relates to the different domains of different deities, so they can make a religion check to figure out what, if the players probably already know this, but like their character would know anything about a deities. Like there'd be different symbols of different deities, and it's like, oh, you something time and time again, life continues or something, and the answer is like, I don't know, Kronos and Sylvanas or something stupid like that, right?
Time after time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got that. Okay.
I think I just had this thought while you were talking, Lee. Like, I think if you could use riddles, even if it is a little on the sillier side, like opening the door in Lord of the Rings, but if you can use it to foreshadow something, or like set the tone, even if it's not that hard to figure out, but the answer is like chilling, or like, you know what I mean, some kind of like, ugh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could be a fun way to set the tone and just kind of add a little more tangibleness to it, even if it lacks substance.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I love what you're saying, Lee. Just like using the riddles to as almost like a lore dump or world building. That's awesome, and that's what, like, the puzzle box thing that I did was 90% just lore from the world, and like a lot of it had to do with like the gods and everything of it. One of these days, I will find that video and condense it down. so it's like just the questions and answers, maybe, I don't know.
It was fantastic, 'cause the first one with the ashes, you used that. I think that was episode 2 of that whole playthrough, and episode 3.
It's 2 or 3.
Yeah, but you used it to like explain some very basic Wildmount lore, which I thought was kind of brilliant. For whether it was even just for our sakes and for the viewer. So yeah. Make them engage with it and learn. I'm going to trick you into learning your lore.
You know what? That's a great way of doing it. I actually love that, because I am a, what is the best way to put this? I'm a terrible DM, right? Because I am terrible at finding.
You hate all the tricks?
Yeah, I'm not good at hiding them at all. Look over here. Yeah, I didn't change the health of that monster. Anyways,
I don't want to play in your games. JK.
A lot of what my games are is I mean, everyone takes a little bit of everything, right? From what they like and everything, like you like, I don't know, some anime, you pop it in there. You like some Critical Role deity, pop it in there, right? So every world is uniquely everyone, like, your own, right? The one that you create is not the same. Sure, my world is in the Forgotten Realms, but, Forgotten Realms in the sense of I have the same deities, but, like, everything else is pretty much just kind of mishmash shoved together. And I take a lot of my riddles or puzzles or stuff and tie it back. So I have a lot of, like, Nethril influence in my campaign, or my campaigns. And that's all old, ancient mumbo-jumbo garbage, and there is no good way to explain that in any sort of way that's not either a lore dump or a terrible riddle or some ancient books, right? So I like to throw a lot of that, like, kind of, you're exploring an old, ancient thing, and you find things like, oh, the floor lights up magically because this was a really cool magical society, and they have, like, lit walkways. That's crazy and super simple, but conceptually cool, right? It tells a story. But I'm on a tangent. I'm gone. I don't know.
No, it's good. I'll engage with you because Josh is obsessed with the riddle that Ian just wrote in chat.
No, I was actually
But I think that's a good plan to give lore, Lee. I do.
Well, now I need to
Jake
read
knows
this
me
riddle.
too well.
Now I need to see this riddle.
You write
Well,
me
that's
with 5
not
letters.
what I'm on. Jake always knows when I've
Lost
His
the
attention
plot.
just went.
Lost the
Yeah.
plot.
I saw you like even like mouthing Write me with 5 letters, but 7.
Well, yeah, no, I did read that,
It's like, okay.
but then Lee started talking about the worlds where we set our campaigns in,
Yeah.
and I mean we've been using Forgotten Realms a lot lately. At necessity, we use just because they're pre-written books that we've been doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we did Wildmount because it was brand new and thought it would be fun. I think we have our own world, which is awesome. Lee has his own world, which I want to learn all about. I'm sure it's awesome
No, you
knowing
don't.
Lee.
No, you don't. There's too,
No, I do.
there's
Are
too
you
much.
kidding me?
It's so dumb.
You
No,
like, and I think Jake to
you're
an
too
extent too.
self-deprecating.
You guys, well, sure, that's not what I was gonna say. That is
Wow.
very true.
Wow.
You like, I feel like you guys can
You're not
get
even good at
excited
that.
about like, not breaking a system. That's not the right way, but like learning how certain things work to get like mechanics. You guys can get very excited about mechanics. It doesn't mean that you don't get excited about other things, but the only thing that I get very excited about is lore. So I would love to learn all about your world, Lee. Like that is totally genuine. But the reason I'm thinking about this, more so than just you saying it in passing, is where does what's the base setting for Daggerheart? Is it Wildmount?
I have no idea.
I
Does it
think
have a
it
base
is.
setting?
I think it is Wildmount, because I think Travis played a character. I mean, he might have just made this character to just make a D&D character in with a Daggerheart system, but he played a character that he played at the beginning of campaign 3 before Chetney.
Oh, Bertrand Bell.
Yes, I forgot the name, but yes, you're right.
It is.
I've only given your
the
riddle
version-
like half attention, like 20% of my attention, and intermittently, but I know I kind of want to figure it out. You write
it
me with
is-
5 letters, but 7 I contain. I have keys but no locks, keep time, but no clocks.
Still thinking about that.
Oh,
I don't know.
sentence? Hold on, wait. Oh, I think that's 8.
I don't think it has base setting.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
They might have just did one in Wildmount for their own game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. So the reason I care about that, 2 things. Wildmount, Exandria, they use a lot of things from the Coast from D&D in years past.
Pathfinder
Like,
2, yeah.
yeah, like some of the same gods and that kind of stuff. So what I think will be really interesting is if they create an official setting. Can't see them making anything other than. But if they are now
You trailed
creating,
off there for me.
if they're now creating their own lore, officially not tied to anything Wizards of the Coast, I'm really excited to see what Chris Perkins is gonna do.
Mhm.
Just, I mean, you don't have 50 years of history to
that you can't
bog
mess
you
with.
down. You could just
Yeah.
do whatever you want. That's
Yeah.
gonna be. I hope that they let him do his thing. I hope that it's not Exandria. If there's anything wrong with Exandria, but
I actually don't think they're going to be working on Daggerheart, the system. They might make adventures for them, but I kind of get the sense they might have their own lane they could run in.
what do you mean?
Why wouldn't you do that for them? It's like, you want to make a new game, you want to make a new world, like what do you want to do?
I would say you wouldn't do that for them because you've just put millions of dollars into creating another system. I
That's
feel
already
like,
made though.
yeah, but
If you're gonna make, if you, there's certainly, if you're gonna bring in Crawford, I don't think it's for adventures as much as it's another system or another game. It might
Crawford
not
for
be as
sure
intense.
is the question mark. I think for
The cruncher.
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, yes, they've already made it, but you don't just create a thing that like D&D, fifth edition. Fifth edition came out, and then they 10 years of supplements for it. Like you don't just create something and then say like, all right, let's we just got these two cool people. Let's have them work on whatever they want to work on. I would be like, hey, this is the new thing that we did. If you like it, can you make it better? Go nuts, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know who. I mean, you could definitely be right that they're doing something completely different, but I'd be surprised.
The conversation had to have been, are you interested in working with us? Yes. Flowchart. Is there anything we have that you are interested in working on? Yes. Okay, then what? No. Okay, are you interested in making your own? Like, I just think it kind of
Sure.
spread out that way. Yeah, you do have to just, would have been nice to be a fly on the wall to just hear some of those
I mean,
conversations and plans, machinations.
Perkins was
Piano.
what?
Piano. Yeah, I know.
Oh, maybe it's music, but the keys.
Oh, there it is. Did he get it? Was it piano?
I think I did.
It's got to be it.
I
That's
can-
got to be it.
You write me with 5 letters, but contains A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah. Okay. I have keys, but no. Yeah. Boom. That's it. It's got to be piano.
Keep time but no clocks is the only. I mean, I guess
Or
you
it could be music,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
All right. Sorry.
that's true. Music works too.
yeah.
Music. Yeah.
because this
There
is in the
it
key of
is,
G
there
or
it
the
is,
key of
yeah.
A. You know.
Yeah.
Perkins. Perkins was doing he's done a lot of work on a lot of the modules that we really enjoyed. Right? Like
Yeah.
what he did Curse of Strahd,
He was the lead on
Icewind
Strahd.
Dale. Those are the two that immediately come to my mind. But like
The list when I did the
it's very clear that the dude's got fantastic
Oh, Icefire
chops.
Peak.
Icefire Peak, yep.
Icefire Peak was it's just light years beyond any other. Well, it's light years beyond Stormwreck. I'll say that.
I wonder.
I thought it was better than
I didn't look at Lost Mines. I only started it.
Yeah,
with you.
Lost Mines. Yeah. I thought it was better than Lost Mines too. And people say that that's one of the best supplements that has ever been made for 5e, but
Lost Mines.
I think Aspire Peak is better.
You would know better than I would. I know I enjoyed playing Lost Mines as far as we got. And they were talking about the original version of it, right? Not like the updated obelisk
I don't know
thing.
anything about the
Yeah.
updated one.
Yeah.
But no, Lee, you're right. A lot of the things that we really loved in 5e were Crawford. Crawford Perkins.
Perkins, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I really hope that they create their own stuff. Like, I
Like,
know.
Not Daggerheart, or
I hope
like,
they create their
they're-
stories. I just want to see Crawford flex his storytelling juices, right, man?
Yeah.
Like,
Perkins.
I am such. I know you said that lore gets you really excited, but like, I'm in the same boat, dude. Like, that's I think why I'm that kind of guy who when I was writing my when I started writing my world or my campaigns or whatnot, like I was looking up what could I do here, what could I do there, and I read one thing and that led to another thing and that led to another thing, and then it was like 3 a.m. I'm like, well, I want to keep going, right? Dude, I'm the kind of guy that like gets angry about World of Warcraft lore being wrong. Like that, like, I get really interested and invested in that kind of stuff. It's part of, I think, the majority of the reason why I like D&D so much in the first place is because I like the whole world building aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's what just calls to me.
I've always liked making my own worlds or playing in custom ones better than the ones they've made. Always.
So much
I
fun.
used to get just as obnoxious about Destiny lore. Like, there's probably tons of video of it actually, but I know Jake has had to hear me just complain and complain and complain over the years about the lore was headed in one direction and all of these things made sense, and then like one popular lore YouTube person said something and I was like, well, that's not true because of this, and this. Like, in-game lore was like grimoire cards that explained what this person was saying was wrong, but the community was like, yeah, I like when this person thinks for me instead of being like actually understanding this. And Bungie like just completely they went that person's direction. And that was like
Humanity
that was the
in
final
a
nail
microcosm,
in the
people.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like when I was doing way back when, like 2010, when I was doing World of Warcraft YouTube stuff, I had a whole series about lore for the game itself, and like one of my biggest complaints with the game was like, no, the story is what buys investment. That's why people care about the game. Turns out I was one of the few people that cared about it, but like,
It was loot.
yeah, it was. Turns out, but I was very invested with things like that. Like I would analyze cutscenes, be like, "This doesn't make sense." Like, I was that guy.
Yeah, Charlie from It's Always Sunny with the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I gotta watch that. That might be next on my list after Chuck.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a modern Seinfeld is the best way that I could describe It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is just a group of the worst people,
Awful people, yeah.
just living life and doing stupid things.
Sounds like me.
No,
Stop
you're
it!
not the worst people.
Stop being
I'm a
mean to
people
my friend Lee.
doing
You're like
stupid
bottom
things.
bottom 50% people, but that doesn't make you the worst.
I think that's fair. That's
Oh,
a fair
no.
assessment.
Is that a riddle?
To you, yes.
Oh man.
So who do we
What does
think?
that mean?
Who do we think is the new face of D&D, if there is a new face? I mean, one thing we didn't talk about
There won't
is what?
I don't think there will be. Sorry, I just blurted out my answer. Sorry.
Okay, I heard Wolfie and I was like, did we talk to Stony Brook University's
Bluey?
mascot?
I think it's going to be Bluey.
yeah,
I'm
Bluey,
here,
big time.
here for that. Well, I feel like I'd rather it be Bandit, but
Swiper, no swiping.
yeah, don't question my Bluey lore. I'm just kidding. What was I saying? Yeah, one thing we didn't mention, Todd Kenrick also announced that he got laid off today. You know, he obviously, I mean, if you don't know and you're watching, he is the dude who you see in any interview video who's just always got a smiling and excited face to learn what's coming next and kind of like break the story for D&D.
Loves his
things.
warlocks.
Loves his warlocks, loves his rogues, loves his vampires. He is
and dad
very
jokes.
much always excited about the same like 4 things, but it's always fun to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's been doing that for. I mean, he started out in fandom, not started out, but as far as the D&D stuff, fandom, which was D&D Beyond, and then just kind of took that all the way through until now, with maybe like a very short break in between. I wouldn't consider him the face of D&D. I would say that Perkins was probably the face, but I mean, if there were three people who you saw anytime something new is coming out, it was
Yeah,
Chris
it was them.
Perkins, Jeremy Crawford, and Todd Kenrick. So you don't think there's going to be a successor?
No.
Lee, you think it's just...
I mean, okay. I don't. Not that I don't think there won't be a successor. I think there won't be a successful successor.
Oh, sure.
Mostly because, I mean, if we're being honest, Chris Perkins was the most personable person on any of the videos that they ever made. Yeah,
for sure.
Crawford
Yeah,
was
I
a
agree.
close second. Todd Kenrick was awkward, but you know you could watch him. And they don't have anyone else that anyone's aware of. And if
I was gonna say, I don't feel like I know candidates really. Like I could think of a few
Yeah.
people that I've started to see a little more regularly, but I don't know who really might even be asked to do that, because usually they bring on rules designers, and you could just tell they're so nervous.
yeah,
And it's just like okay, maybe just
Yeah.
have a shot of tequila or something, and then come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just something.
the only
Just
people...
check. Do they have any applications? Can they like apply for community manager, content creator, or something?
The only people I've seen who always look comfortable and excited there's like two from the art department that they had on for a lot of the 2024 videos, and the two of them I don't remember their names at all, and you know, I'm sure, sorry in advance, Lee, if you get a comment from some asshole who is like,
Oh, you have to do
you
this.
could clearly just Google their name and then just put it right here. This is their name, actually. That happened to us once.
actually,
I was like, did you not hear me make fun of myself for not knowing? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Aside from those two, I agree, Jake. Like they all. It doesn't seem like something they would want to do, you know, to be kind of the ambassador for the brand. So I don't know. I think a lot of people.
I think in terms of seniority, I think you'd look at someone like a James Wyatt, but he's never really expressed, or just, he seems like so happy-go-lucky with it too, that he's like, I don't care. You want me to be on camera? I'll do it. Like, but like he's not like the interviewer. He might be someone they ask a question like, "Oh, you did an adventure? Okay, yeah. Want me to talk about it? Great." But like he's not stepping in front for that.
Yeah, I also think I don't think he's even full time. I think he's just a part-time writer. Because he's also
he just has history
a minister.
with the
He's
company.
a priest. Yeah. He's been at Wizards of the Coast for forever. But yeah, I don't know.
He
It's
actually
gonna
might have
be
been
interesting.
at TSR
Really?
briefly. He actually might have been one of the only people that moved over. But like it was freelance writing, and then it turned into like, you want to work here for us too?
It's very interesting. I didn't
Maybe.
know that.
Maybe.
Well, if it's true,
I
it's
could be
very
thinking
interesting.
I could be thinking of someone else, but I think it might have been him.
Someone was saying earlier today about Todd leaving, being like, okay, is this bad? Is it all right to start panicking now? And for me, I'm just very curious about what's next. Like, is content for the official D&D channel now just gonna be, I'm totally blanking on her name, but that one girl who DMs, and then the cast of
Bria
Baldur's Gate
Iyengar,
3.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
that's kind of what my next question I was gonna ask you guys, because that's kind of what it looks like. Or I will say, if you look at like the last couple of videos on their YouTube channel, there's one of the frequent TTRPG players. I don't remember her name. I can't remember her name. God forbid. I'm never gonna remember her name. There's
I don't watch their playthroughs either. So
there's a D4 D4 deep dive YouTuber. I don't remember what his name is.
Cody.
Is it Cody?
I think so.
Who did a video?
A very smooth, soothing voice. Very nice guy.
Blonde hair with a little swirly bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's pretty much it. Aside from BG3, that doesn't include Todd Kenrick, Jeremy Crawford, or Chris Perkins.
I looked it up, and James Wyatt never directly worked for TSR, but he did do freelance material for Dragon Magazine.
There you go.
Why is
and he did have his.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I was gonna say he actually moved to Wisconsin in the mid '90s, hoping to do that, but in '97 they closed. But he did do some freelance work for them. What were you gonna say, Lee?
There is in new videos. Hold on, what's this guy's name? Wesley Schneider, who's been in a lot of videos.
F. Wesley Schneider, yeah, that was the guy we got called out for not knowing his name. He was on the Monster Manual.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of
videos.
recent videos with Jeremy in the past like 5 months. So
he was when they were talking about each of the monster videos. That was because he worked on that book.
Interestingly enough, that their latest video is Legend of Evantris, which is very interesting to me.
Not Cody, Colby.
Colby.
Ian had it right.
Colby.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
What is Legends? That's just a.
Have you ever been on
games?
YouTube Shorts and seen a real, like a live play game of D&D? Never. Okay, these guys exploded.
You asked if I was ever on YouTube Shorts, and I.
Okay, these guys the
vertical
Chuckles the
content
clown
offensive.
videos with the funny voice. Yeah, that's Legends of Evantris.
I've seen. I couldn't escape those videos of that clown.
They
for the longest time.
exploded like last year,
I don't
2
know
years ago.
what they did to get that video to blow. It's funny, but it was literally every single time
Yeah.
I was on YouTube Shorts. It was like 4 of them in a row. Sometimes it was the same clip, just either different people posting it, or this time it was animated. This time it was live. Like,
Yeah, it's those guys effectively.
Yeah.
They came out of nowhere 2 years ago and just blew up from their shorts. But yeah, they're on the official D&D channel.
For them, that's cool.
I mean, so maybe they're looking out to more like content creators, because I mean, I don't know.
This?
I don't remember who this woman is. I can't remember who it is.
Are you looking at Sneak Attack Just Got Meaner?
Yes, yeah.
That's the voice actor for the militant Gith person.
Oh, that's for Lazelle. That's
yes, for Lazelle. Thank you.
That's not Lazelle.
Devora.
That's not Lazelle.
No, that is not Lazelle. That's a voice.
Lazelle?
That's a voice actor on like one of the Critical Role one shots, and I think Dimension 20.
Second.
Oh.
I can see it. She does look similar, though. I do see I do see it.
She's older than Devora. Is her name Devora something?
Oh,
Right.
yep. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. Lee is correct. Wasn't she also in Baldur's Gate though?
I don't believe so. No.
I don't think so. She was Angelica or
That's
Angela.
how much I pay
something?
attention to things.
Angelique.
Yeah, I mean, but this
I know
might be it.
she's
There
always
might
in the
not
group
be...
with the Baldur's Gate people playing, so I just assumed.
Yeah. There might not be a face. It might just be ambiguous based on like just these past couple of months. Random designers.
The company model
arts.
might prefer it that way.
I was just thinking that. I was like, that's such a corporate thing to be like, we don't want any one person to. They don't ever want an employee to leave and it to feel like Crawford left or Perkins left. They don't ever want that to happen again. Like if somebody leaves, it's just, they don't want it to be a headline. They just want it to be, yeah, this person, you've probably seen it on a couple videos.
Yeah.
They left. And it makes sense, but is it good for the game? Who the heck knows?
I mean, it doesn't sound like they think it is. At least Perkins and Crawford think that it is, but who knows?
I don't think it matters for the game. I think the game, the state of the game is about the rules that are there and the kinds of games that they foster. I mean, it's
Yeah.
You know, Perkins and Crawford leaving obviously affects that. So many people are like, "Oh, these guys get what they deserve." Blah blah blah. You know, this and that. I should go back and respond to that comment on our channel and be like, "Well, now they work for Critical Role. Did they get what they deserve now?"
Seriously, it's such a
Quitting at the
stupid-
top of
But
their
they
game
love to
and then
blame
working
them for the state
competitor?
of the game. Yeah, like they love to blame them for the state of the game. Like it's like, first off, that's a subjective topic. Secondly, I feel like that you can see their as the game evolved, you could see they were involved less. So if
Yeah.
anything, they're not responsible for the state of the game.
I mean,
But like I don't think it takes that much thought to put that together, but everybody
it
loves
doesn't. But like,
to quote Troy Barnes, everybody loves that scapegoat.
everybody loves that escape.
I don't know. I think we're.
I tripped you up on that, Josh.
Yeah, he was about to
That's-
talk, and then he
that's a
just
good
started
one.
laughing.
All it takes is a
I don't
community
agree.
reference.
That is all it takes. You know, you just wrinkled my brain. I have no idea what I was
He's
about
gone.
to say.
He's totally gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think it
sorry,
matters.
Josh.
I don't think
You're
it
good.
matters at all.
No, it doesn't.
The
It
game
doesn't.
is what it is. Like they finished 2024, bada bing. That's the game right now, right? What they do with it is their own, but there's really what is D&D, right? They got the next 10, 15 years of coming up with modules and ways to sell 2024, right? So,
Phew, if it lasts that long, I would be surprised.
I mean, I'm just going based on the past, the history, right? Like,
Do they?
because what
Do they
3.5
go 60 or do
was-
they do like another update, like 5.34?
How did they do another update? I've thought about this before too, and they've put themselves in such a weird position by doing like a halfway measure, because it's like a 3/4 measure what they did, because it is still very different than 2014 5e, but they were
Philosophically,
too
yeah.
afraid to like fully depart from it. So it's still 5th edition, and they want to say that it's still fully backwards compatible, which is true to an extent, but it also just it is a weird place to exist in, and we still don't even know what to call it. We've been calling it 5.24. I don't know.
The update 5.5. Yeah,
Isn't it just like
I think
D&D?
they-
Are they just calling it D&D? Like
that's what
I
they
think
want it
that
to
is
be.
what they want it to be.
yeah. So that's
But
how
it's
I'm
like- it's
understanding
like-
it.
It's like calling X Twitter still, though. Like there's something about it. It's just like the brand was, but the opposite. I don't know. It's like weird.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to call it X. I still call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Because the brand was so strong. I
Yep.
think that's what they wanted to have happen, but people are not really.
It's just
It was so ambiguous
Well,
that
it's
they didn't
different
know.
because
Yeah.
it's different because the brand is D&D, but the brand has multiple games, right? Under the D&D header,
Yes.
right? There's D&D, multiple editions of it. So if you don't add an addition to it, it's like you're talking about this amalgamous thing, right? Amalgamous? I don't know.
No,
this is
What?
what they wanted to do to it. I just
Oh,
sent
no.
it to you guys in Discord.
Oh, no.
This is that corporate art style where it's just like, you know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's just that ambiguous. I don't know what this is, but I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know, man.
I gotta cut this short. My dog's Bing Bong and she's gotta go potty. So
Yeah, you're not cutting it
That
short.
works.
We've been talking for 83 minutes.
yeah, that's
So-
all good.
well, I gotta cut this long then. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, don't do that.
I'm gonna cut horizontally. No, cut lengthwise. I don't know. Like,
Everyone knows you cut a sandwich in triangles.
oh man.
On that note,
Yeah, on that note, make sure you cut your sandwiches in triangles, and we'll see you next time. Go check out J&J if you're still
Adios.
here. Who knows? I'm probably asleep. We've been rambling enough. J&J's great.
we scared him away.
Yeah, it's gone. Bye, everybody.